Hi everybody, it's me, Shannon LaBruyere. Welcome to another Sunday Night Live. I am alive and loving it. Looking forward to a fantastic week. I love Sunday nights. I love gathering together with my close family and friends, which include you, and starting the week off with purpose, with enthusiasm, with a little bit of food for thought. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for jumping in. Alex, welcome. I'd love to have you here. And sorry about your foot, honey. I really am. Lisa, great to see you. Welcome, everybody. You guys are going to be thrilled to find out that I've got to the bottom of the mystery a few weeks back of why my screen where I was sideways and I couldn't make myself not be sideways. So for all of you who have iPhones, I'm not sure if it's the case on whatever they call them, the ones that aren't iPhones. Gosh, why can't I think of that? Somebody tell me what that is. What are they called? They're not iPhones. What's the other one? The Samsung. Oh, darn. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So on an iPhone, if you have set your screen rotate to lock so that your screen doesn't rotate when you turn your phone, and then you try to launch a Facebook Live and turn your screen, it's not going to show you right side up. It's going to show you sideways. So lesson to all of us, make sure your screen is unlocked. Hi, Laura, and welcome. I'm glad you're here. So glad to have you. So we are getting started here, coming off of a really great week. I've got my grandbaby here. She is 2.5, and she's a boss. Jared, I'm glad you're here. So glad you jumped in. Yes, for the girl bosses among us, my little granddaughter Bria, she's going to be right in there with us. In fact, I asked her today as she was typing on my computer, I asked her if she was getting ready to make some appointments with clients who needed to learn how to be better speakers and better leaders. And she said yes. And then she picked up the mouse, acted like it was a phone, and started calling her clients. So she's following right in CMOS's footsteps, and I've been having a good time. So, all right. We're going to get started tonight. This isn't going to be a really long one, but it's a heartfelt one. I'm so glad you're joining me. We're going to be talking tonight about being picked and what to do when you aren't. I was reflecting this week about how many times I have not been picked. It goes all the way back to gym class in elementary school and dodgeball. How many of you played dodgeball? How many of you hated dodgeball? That would be me. My goal in dodgeball was, and actually I didn't have to work hard at it because I was slow, but my goal was to get hit first so that I could go sit on the bleachers so that I didn't have to go out there with the rest of them and feel dumb. I was always the last one picked for anything that was physical, always the last one picked. And eventually, because I didn't get picked, do you know what I decided? I decided that I wasn't good enough to play sports. I wasn't good enough to move my body. I wasn't good enough to get out there and hit a softball or run in a race or do a tug of war. And so I started to avoid it because them not picking me turned into me not being allowed to participate. That wasn't because they said I could never. It's because I started buying into that idea that if I didn't get picked, I couldn't do it. When I was in junior high, I was in the choir, and I loved to sing. I sang all the time. I loved to sing. I sang at church, in the choir at church. I sang at school, sang whenever I could. And I tried one time to get a solo, and I didn't get picked. I didn't get picked. And so instead of trying again, when I didn't get picked, I decided I just must not be good enough to sing. And so I started singing a lot less. And I started thinking, I must not be good enough. I must not have what it takes, even though I loved it. And so I started backing away. Have you ever not been picked for something and started backing away? How about when you're in your career and you wanted a promotion and maybe you were up against somebody else who was a strong contender, but come on, you had it. You worked hard. You'd really done your stuff. You've done your homework. You knocked that interview out of the park. And then you didn't get picked? Has that ever happened to you? Thumbs up. Doesn't mean you love it. It just means that it's happened to you. Have you ever put your heart and soul into something and then people didn't want it? They didn't want to buy your art that you hung up and put at the craft show, right? I had a party one time. I decided when I was an adult, that I couldn't have parties anymore because my sister and I threw a party and nobody came. It was just us. We had a massive amount of snacks, right? You've been there. We had a ton of snacks. We had everything all set up, ready to go, and nobody came. They didn't pick me. It's heart-wrenching. It's gut-churning. Nobody likes to not be picked. So if you know how that feels, you've got a ton to give. You're a great singer, but there's a better singer, and she's the one who always gets the parts. Or you're a great hitter in softball, but somebody else just a little better always squeezes you out. Or maybe the people who are being picked aren't better at all. It's political. And that stinks even worse. It feels awful. It's frustrating. It's depressing. It's confidence sucking. That just sucks every bit of enthusiasm and energy that you have when you don't get picked, if you let it. And so what I want to share with you tonight for just a few minutes is what to do when you don't get picked. I want to say about 20 years ago now, I was pretty convinced that I was a mediocre singer. Lots of people were constantly getting picked to sing instead of me. And I went to visit somebody in the nursing home. She was ill. I was there just to visit. And something in the back of my brain said, you should ask her if she wants you to sing her a hymn. And I pushed it aside. No, I don't think so. And then it started nagging me again, that little voice that I've come to acknowledge as the voice of God. Your little voice might belong to someone else, I don't know. But my little voice, it belongs to God. And there was this little God voice saying, Shannon, you should sing for this lady. You should sing for this lady. And so I did. I said, would you like me to sing a hymn for you? Yeah, I would. She was dying. Yeah, I would. What would you like me to sing? I don't care what you want to sing. She didn't mind. She didn't care. And so the girl who had not been picked to sing a solo in a long time picked herself to sing a solo for somebody who was dying to hear it. And I started, there is coming a day when no heartache will come, no more clouds in the sky, no more tears to dim the eye. And I watched as my solo started changing somebody's life. You know what I did? I picked me. There was none of those other great singers there to do this. There was nobody else sitting next to this lady who was dying of cancer. There was nobody but me. And I picked me. And I found out that I was able to connect with somebody in a beautiful, magnificent way. They didn't care if I'd never been picked. I knew what I had, and that got me going. Welcome, Kevin. Welcome, those of you who are jumping in. Michelle, have you ever been there where all of a sudden you realize, wait a second, I can still sing, I can still dance, I can still do whatever it is that I do. don't have to have somebody filter my talent and my ability. I can pick me, right? Yes, thumbs up. Yes, we can pick ourselves. So if you are sick and tired of not being picked, don't be discouraged, because there are people out there who need exactly what you have. But they need you to keep being brave. They need you to keep being bold. They need you to pick you, because there are not enough solos in the world to meet the needs of the people that need you to sing to them. Michelle has a great comment here. She said, I learned not to apologize for my strengths, which is creativity, and embrace what God has given me naturally. And I can't see the rest of her quote, but she's so right. You can pick you. How many of you have felt like you had to hold back? You didn't want to shine like a star. You knew you had something good, but it maybe wasn't as good as someone else, and you felt like that meant it wasn't good at all. Has that ever happened to you? It's happened to me. Michelle, I suspect that you learned not to apologize for your strengths because you tried not. I want you to think about, what is your strength? What do you bring to this world? What great thing do you have that somebody is just waiting to experience? Did you not get the job at the school that you wanted to teach at? Did you get overlooked? Did you get not picked? How many other places are there where you could use that talent, use that skill, use that gift, and you wouldn't have to be picked at all? What if you started something? What if you started a singing group if you love to sing? What if you started a workout team that you could work out together? What if you were the one who picked you? Because this is what I've learned over time, and I love the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Yvonne, welcome. This is what I've learned over time. Once I pick me, other people start to notice, but it doesn't matter as much. I've told a little bit of this story before, but I'm going to share it again, a little bit more details. About 8 years ago, there was a job I wanted really bad, and I was highly qualified. There aren't very many of these jobs in the organization, but there was one, and it was close to home, and it was perfect for me, and I knew that I was going to get it because I was the best. And so I applied for that job, and I did the best I could on that resume, and I presented beautifully in my interview. How many of you have interviewed and you knew I just knocked it out of the park, right? I knew I had done great work, and then I didn't get picked. And I was crushed, because when I looked at the organization that I was in, there were no more of those opportunities going to come up. I was never going to be picked for that job, ever. And this is what not to do when you don't get picked. The first thing, don't wallow in self-pity. So when you don't get picked, I just want you to know, don't spend your energy feeling sorry for yourself, crying in your coffee or your beer. Don't wallow in self-pity, because that mud bog will suck all of your energy out. So don't wallow in self-pity. This is a great rule of thumb. Give yourself 24 hours to be miserable, and then leave it go. Leave it behind. Like a lady that I interviewed for a job, and she did get picked, by the way. What she said to me was this. She goes, the way I look at it, how did she say? Take the meat, leave the bones. She went straight to my heart because it was a food reference, but take the meat, leave the bones. 24 hours, if you didn't get picked, keep moving. But this is what you do. This is what you do. When you don't get picked, give yourself time to feel sad. That's legitimate. But then, yeah, thanks. Thanks for laughing at me. This is what you do. This is what you do. you immediately begin looking for another place to use your gift that nobody has to give you permission to use it. Have you ever thought about volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club? Have you ever thought about singing that beautiful solo that you've been dying to sing? Have you ever thought about singing that at the nursing home? People aren't standing in line to go there, but I'm telling you, they would love to hear you. Nathan, welcome. Or maybe it's Natasha, Schutz family, welcome. I'm glad you're here. You do not have to funnel your gift, your purpose, your strengths through other people to use them. Right? You don't have to. Maybe there are other people who are better at what you do than you. There are certainly better people who are better at doing what I do, but they can't do it for the people that I'm doing it for. We all have something. So don't wallow when you are not picked. Instead, I want you to pick yourself. And once you pick yourself, you are going to be amazed at what happens. Yvonne, that's exactly right. She says it's true for the nursing home. They truly appreciate it. They do. And they are blessed. They are blessed when we give to them. So a great opportunity. If you've got a creative gift and you don't have anywhere to use it and nobody's picked you, pick yourself. Take yourself somewhere where they're going to appreciate it. When I didn't get that job, I wallowed for way too long. I wallowed for 6 months. I was in the depth of despair. I had headaches that wouldn't stop. I got up every morning feeling like I had no energy. I had no momentum. I had no initiative. I was so sad because nobody was picking me. And I finally decided, you know what? If they're not going to pick me, I'm going to pick me because I know what my strengths are. And I started researching. I started looking. All right, where can I go to hone the skills that I know I have? I wanted to be a speaker, and here I am, right? I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be able to help people to thrive and have a better life. I wanted all of those things. And instead of allowing someone else to tell me you aren't allowed to use them, and actually, that organization didn't say, Shannon, you can never be a speaker or a coach. You can never be a public speaker. All they said was, you just can't do it right here. That's all. And that's their choice to make. But I picked me. I started honing my skills. I went and got certified so that I could be a John Maxwell certified coach, a program I love and respect. I started speaking and sharing my stories and talking with people and sharing my gift, not hiding it under a bushel. And I started doing that outside of my organization. And I stopped worrying about whether they wanted me or not. I'm not going to tell you that this always happens, but I will share with you what happened for me. When I stopped wallowing because they didn't pick me and I picked myself, within 3 months of me making that decision to pick me, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to learn what I need to do. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to share my gift. Within 3 months of that happening, a high-level executive came to me in my organization and said, Shannon, I need you to use your gifts and go out there and start working with people and helping them grow and helping their work environment. I got picked. I got picked, but I quit worrying about it because I'd picked me. And I just want you to know, if you do not get picked, the first thing to remember is don't wallow in self-pity. There are a lot of people who don't get picked. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of artists who are trying to get into Juilliard. And only a small percentage, a few hundred, get picked to be in Juilliard. And then while they're there and they're learning to play the violin and play the clarinet, play the trumpet, dance, whatever it is that they're learning, they're still probably not going to get picked when they go out and try to get into an orchestra or try to get into that prestigious dance troupe. People are all the time not getting picked. But it does not mean that we can't use our gifts. Jason, welcome. Hans, I'm glad you could join us. If you are sick and tired of not getting picked, if you feel jumpy inside because there's something in there screaming to get out, you can't wait to share it. Why won't anybody notice? Why won't they see me? Why won't they pick me? Pick me, pick me. And you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Stop waiting. Pick yourself and start using that gift, that talent to add value to somebody, and you are going to be amazed at how your life turns around. It is gratifying, but even more than that, it starts opening up space in your world. You don't know who you're going to meet, who's going to need more of your gifts and your talent. You'll never know. And Nathan Natasha Shute says that is good. Amen. You will never know until you pick yourself. That's tonight's message. If you want to stop hoping, if you are ready to stop waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to pick you, now's your time. Now's your time. If you're sick of waiting, I want to invite you to join me on a journey to get unstuck from that waiting for someone else to pick me and turn into that person who picks yourself. If you're interested in doing that, if you're ready, go to ShannonLoverier.com. Find out more information about the Unstuck Masterclass. I would love to have you. I've been there. I waited for 30-some years to be picked, and then I finally figured it out. I needed to pick myself. I want to help you pick yourself. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending some of your Sunday night with me. As you go forward all this week, pick yourself. What's your gift? Don't apologize for it. Find somebody who wants it. There is somebody who does. And you don't have to ask anybody's permission to start using your talent. Jared, let me see. Very good. Give me the pickup I needed for the week. Jared, I am glad. That's what I'm here to do. I want you to thrive and change. If you want to thrive some more, if you're ready to get unstuck, don't forget to check out the Unstuck Masterclass at my website, ShannonLoverier.com. Thank you for joining me. Mwah! Oh, last thing. Share this video. If this is something that added value to you, it will add value to the people you know. And it certainly helps me get some visibility out there. The more people who know the good word, the better it is. Share away, people. I ask you to do it, invite you to do it, and I will see you again soon. Bye.